Hi out there, all you Virgo people. This video is for you if your sun sign is Virgo. It doesn't really apply so much if it's got your moon sign and your Venus all up in other places. However, if you don't have Virgo sun sign, but you have a heck of a lot of your planets in Virgo, then some of your character might still be attributed to this, as with all the other videos. So, if you've seen your planetary chart and you don't have very many things in your sign, then and you don't seem like your sign, it might be because of the other planetary influences. This is the second Earth sign of the zodiac, ruled by Mercury, a versatile planet which has a certain attribute of coldness. In Virgo people, we find the essence of down-to-earth practicality. Virgoians possess a detached analytical method of thinking, which is often misunderstood as being a desire to be completely separate from much of the world. Virgo is a halfway house of the zodiac, and in many ways there is a certain sense of an incompleteness about Virgorians, which makes them incomprehensible. The planet Mercury seems to bestow all of its attributes upon the mind of a Virgo, which is generally razor-sharp, keen, discriminating, orderly, methodical, and thoughtful, to the point of ultra-refinement. This is not conducive to the Virgorians being able to mix readily with all types of people. They will choose a few friends early in life and stick with them. They are not too curious about how the rest of the world lives, but there is an overall feeling of tolerance as the behavior of fellow men, as they are willing to live in a rather restricted personal world. They are also capable of non-interference in other people's lives, and wait until a reasonable point of friendship has been reached before expressing their ideas and emotions to others. Inasmuch as Virgorians are a blend of earthliness and objective intellect, sex is not too important to the life of the typical subject of this sign. Most Virgorians are blessed with good luck. They have a remarkable way of preserving their youthful appearance well past middle age. They often attract attention from members of opposite sex, but they fail to go further in relationships than a courteous friendliness and a willingness to be of service. Virgorians excel in acts of gentleness and consideration to their friends. Of the zodiac, Virgo is regarded as the sign of service to others, but this should not be taken to mean that it is a sign of being a servant. Quite the reverse. Virgorians prefer to think carefully before offering aid, and they rarely appreciate being pressured into doing any favor. The idea for the help must first be born of the Virgorian's own mind. This gives Virgo a sense of being self-sufficient. No one can force a Virgo into any love affair through sex, which is relegated to the background of something that can be attended to later on. Virgos must fall in love for their own accord, and then sex is an obligation, and we will fulfill no greater the emotion than the probability feels when carrying a cup of coffee each morning to his partner's bedside. He is rarely concerned with erotica, because of his painstakingly and slow perceptiveness of himself as well as others. He is sure to be more so when it comes to selecting a mate. In his companionship, he needs more than an exciting romance. Once he has decided to embark on a marriage, he will perform all duties to embark on marriage. He will perform to the best possible home, be indulgent with female vulgarities of health and temperament, but will nevertheless be quite possessive of his mate. He likes to aim and enjoy having his own things around him, and he is prepared to treat his partner in the same manner as he treats his possessions. Generally, his choice as a partner is someone who is inherently respectable, someone who does not take exception to the reasonably long courtship, and one who can participate wholeheartedly in an utterly moral relationship. Like most people, he needed to be loved and to fulfill the potential, even professionally, but he often fails to appreciate the fact that he must be loved. He must also be loving. He dislikes flamboyant displays of all kinds and can be physically revolted by elaborate demonstrations of affection in public. He rarely likes to be touched, even casually. There is an infinite degree of modesty in Virgorians, of both sexes, although the slight of undressed body produces little reaction to him. They can take nudity or leave it, or most of them prefer to leave it. Virgorians are generally more respected than liked. They do not seem to want to invoke any passionate emotions in others. Rather, they do prefer to live on a flat, emotional plane in which extreme hatred and extreme love has no part. For them it is enough to be highly regarded as one who inspires the kind of docile attachment which they accept. It is very difficult for Virgorians of either sex to give himself entirely to another. They must always be feeling of chastity in the inner emotions of a typical Virgo. He wants to maintain an honorable reputation for good, clean living, and he generally has impeccable standards of morality, which remains evidence all throughout his life. Most of the bachelors and spinsters of the world can be found as having been born in this sign. It is a matter of fact that they prefer the unmarried state, not a matter of having been forgotten in the married market. While the stable traits of Virgo are admirable, and in the sense of order and precision are to be admired, if Virgo is not highly evolved spiritually, he or she can become a nagging menace to a partner who does not understand his basic character. Fussiness is not always considered to be a virtue these days, and anyone who can be physically sickened by such things on sight as an ashtray overflowing with loads of cigarette butts can be difficult to live with unless he has a partner with similar foibles. By modern standards, many of the Vigorian virtues may be interpreted as vices, because they are good at detail. Some of the best literary editors, musical critics, and dietitians of the world are found to be born under this sign. Vigorian makes kinds of lawyers who don't hit for headlines, but their brilliant courtroom arbitrates those who can rely upon the known law so thoroughly that they cannot fail to represent their clients with honor and efficiency. Generally, the female Virgo has an astounding mind. She is quick to catch to small detail which others overlook. She is equally as analytical as her male counterpart, but she can carry this to extremes of her own household unless she is careful, and is undoubtedly at her best professional life, but may get ulcers worrying over what her colleagues are doing or not doing. In her own right, she can succeed in business, especially when she is immersed in her career, in which meticulous attention to detail counts. There is often a latent tendency of lesbianism in Virgo women, but there is a question of the state of mind, whether active desire for physical contact in Virgo men. This same lack of sexual drive consults to manifestations of masochism. Although this is not often a virulent nature, it is a Vigorian desire to serve others carried to extremes that result in the kind of sexual aberrations. Both male and female Vigorians are adequate as parents inasmuch as the necessities of life are readily throughout supplied to them, but there is a frequency, not a great overwhelmingly love of children, even though they're their own offspring. They function better as uncles and aunts, and about 4 times a year meticulously plan some great expedition which is designed to be more of an educational and culturally beneficial for the young, as it is meant to be exciting than stimulating. Often it is well organized and turns out to be both. While so many people seek happiness through changing the patterns of their lives, Vigorians are at the best in their spheres when others might consider metonymous. Only when there are other vibrations from other strong planets does Virgo attempt to get into the limelight. A notable exchange of this is seen in the Lyndon Johnston. I don't know who that is. Even when the Vigorian does achieve public acclaim, he is noted for withdrawing unexpectedly. Greta Garbo, the film actress of the 30s, is the outstanding example of the cool Vigorian who fulfills her professional task and fastidiousness, attention, of detail, and then is content to retire to her own world, shut off from public, which she engulfs herself. This type of Vigorian maintains a complete calm in the face of admiration, and her image for future generations will be a combination of the great star and the simple woman who said, "I want to be alone," and succeeding in carrying her dual destiny. The energy which so many other people put into sexual urges and repetitive love affairs in Virgo transfers to work. Shyness, or sometimes evident an awareness of this type, may be in pitiless self-examination, which the Virgo finds himself lacking. In some cases, judgment may be not on as accurate as his powers of self-analysis. Should a Virgorian indulge in relationships which borders on being a love affair, that should anything go wrong with the affair, no one can be more wounded than the child of Mercury. He will make no commitment about it to a friend, but will be hounded like an animal to prefer to retire in solitude, where the process of self-examination will begin again. This self-examination and questioning will result in negative effects on his health and his nervous system. Always the sense of remorse will be secret, but fortunately it is rarely lasting. Virgos remember old hurt, and vow never to go through such an emotional eruption again, but he will not communicate these decisions to others. If marriage takes place between two Virgorians, equal in social position and both mentally alert, though an appreciation of intellect, and surprisingly enough, the union can be very happy. It's also, Virgo is likely to be quite happy with Taurus. An excellent one is Capricorn. Yeah, I hope that you've enjoyed this little reading and that you've learned something about Virgo and how it applies if it's your sun sign. I don't have Virgo in my sun sign, but it is my Lilith. So some of my, and if you don't know what a Lilith is, I'll just add this in here. Lilith is like your dark element of your consciousness. So there's like a yin-yang of your consciousness, which is always the moon. But there's the moon in your natal chart, which won't be where dark Lilith is. I think they're actually like opposite each other because it is like your opposite nature. And yeah, so some of that applies to me, but not all of it because my sun sign reading is in Taurus. So more of the Taurus. Both of them would kind of apply to me. Or like for your own, for your own interest there in your natal chart, if you see that you have a whole bunch of planets in one of these signs, then some of this love sex stuff might apply to you, not just if it's your sun sign. But thanks for watching. Subscribe and comment and let me know your thoughts. And peace for now. Later, Virgos.